Politics and economics are important in any Shaw book.
Perhaps I'd better read that myself. Nonsense. I don't mind.
I wonder how the old man methods of destroying.
Now then, since you've made friends with us, we want to know all about it.
Tell you what, you appeal them first.
Have you anything to say against it?
To brave men.
Your dirty fist.
All the shelter promised us £5,000. Hooray, glory!
Lights up. Was he starving or was he not? Was he a man?
We hadn't done Shaw in a very long time, and I thought Major Barbara, which is one of his best plays, had very good opportunities for a good number of students.
Yes. Yes. This is art.
I think the most important thing in the theater is the idea of the play. So everyone knew ahead of time that the idea was, if you want to make the world better, soul, intellect, and power have to be united, and Barbara's soul, Cousins is intellect, and Undershaft is power. So we're all working from the same idea.
My God, why hast thou forsaken me?
With the Barbaras, it's very important that they think and talk like genuinely religious people.
I mean, as a person, I'm not that religious. I'm a very passionate and very opinionated person, but I'm not that religious. So that was the hardest connection for me to make in relation from me to Major Barbara, was how religious she is and how far she's willing to go to almost prove it, to show how religious she is.
Now, having read a lot of the Bible and all about the Salvation Army and all of these religious things that I've sort of had to turn to understand her references and everything like that, and coming out of, I went to a Catholic high school, and sort of having to put it all together and to find that passion in her for religion.
Not at all.
Adolphus Cousins is a Greek professor. He was saved by Major Barbara of the Salvation Army. He was a very shy, studious man until he met Barbara. And Barbara took him in and showed him the true meaning of Dionysus and what it really means to be Greek.
He's read Socrates and Plato and Euripides and Aeschylus and Sophocles, and he really believes in these people and what they thought, and that takes a certain kind of thinking.
Adolphus Cousins goes through these very interesting escalations in thought and emotion, and a lot of the trouble for me was connecting to those thoughts and understanding how he really felt about them, and how he really felt about these ideas, and how he really felt about all this surrounding action, especially with how he felt about Andrew Undershaft as being his father-in-law and as a maker of cannons. Mr. Undershaft, you're as far as I am able to gather a most infernal old rascal, but you appeal very strongly to my sense of ironic humor.
Excellent. Have you now to business?
Pardon me, Mr. Undershaft shows him that that's the truth, that he hasn't done anything proper to rid the world of all this wrong.
That as the long days go, to live as happy, you must first acquire money enough for a decent life and power enough to be your own master.
You are terribly discouraging.
He is one of the richest, most powerful men in Europe, or perhaps in the world. He is an arms manufacturer.
Now, Charles!
The biggest challenge for approaching this role, I guess, has to be the trying to capture the massiveness of this character and yet the simplicity. He knows the way things work. His personal motto is unashamed. And although that there's all this corruption in the government and all this corruption within his business and arms trading and illegal arms trading as well. He doesn't really see it as immoral, and he sees it as just basically the way things work, and how what he does is saving the world of poverty, which he sees as the worst of all crimes.
So Undershaft has to think like a capitalist, Barbara has to think like a Salvationist, and Cousins has to think like a classical scholar.
He wanted us to attend each other's rehearsals, every rehearsal, and it made me so nervous because I thought, does he want us to be the same person? Does he not? Does he want, Major Barbara to be the same way, even though we're two different people? And so the first couple rehearsals were really nerve-wracking. But after like the first 2 weeks, I got used to you being there, and it was really nice how we got to watch each other and sort of take some things in, and then also know that, oh wow, it's really interesting to see how she perceives this moment in time, and know that it's okay that it was different, that we felt it differently.
At first I was sort of like unsure of why he wanted us to do it, and then
we talked about it.
Yeah, and then I sort of understood his reasoning behind it, that it was more about, not about us watching the Barbaras that we're both creating, but it was more about watching Barbara's whole story.
Yeah.
And it's cool to sort of
that
be able
evolution,
to watch someone else do that and watch her evolution, as opposed to like, oh, well, what is she doing in this moment? What is she doing in this moment? It's more just about the character in the story.
We're going to march to a great meeting at the Assembly Hall at Mile End. Come and see what we're doing, see the shelter. Can you play anything?
Now what this means for the audience, I think there's a happy ending, essentially. And I think there's a I think that you can, if we do this right, the audience can leave the theater on a tremendous kind of philosophical high that you're not going to get in later plays. I think in later plays you're going to leave feeling a little troubled.